Okay, welcome to American Dream Garage. I'm leaning on my 1973 XKE. This car happens to be the first collector car I ever purchased approximately 23 years ago. It was one of my dream cars, and I bought it. It was an older restoration, probably sometime in the late 80s, early 90s. I don't know exactly. And then I spent some time cosmetically on it. It was repainted, new leather. It still needs a new top, but generally I don't have it out with the top up. And so it is cosmetically very nice. I've won a couple shows with it here in town. And I drive it sparingly, but I had it tuned up several years ago and they did a very good job, and it's run well ever since. So I get it out, drive it, it's fine, I put it away. Well, this year I got it out. I'll show a video pulling it out. And there were some things that didn't feel right. There was a brake light on. The steering was jerky, which made me think that it was low on fluid, but in essence, it was more than that. And then when I got it home, I noticed leaking fluid. A petroleum fluid, and it was coming from the front, near the front right wheel, which was strange to me because there's generally nothing there. So I thought, okay, it's time to bring it out here and to give it some love and put it up on a rack and kind of see what is needed. So we will do that, and we'll get it up and take a look at it and see. I'm not sure I want to do a total undercarriage restoration on it, but I clearly want to fix the things that I find. So stay tuned. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we got to get the wheels off to take a look at the front suspension. So this is a later model, Series 3. It does not have the ears on the spinner, so it has this that comes with it, as well as a hammer, and that's how they are removed. So we will try to give it a few blows and see if we can get it off. And the British obviously know what they're doing, but this feels like a bad idea. I'm using a hammer to pound on something. I'm going to raise the hood so I get at least that wheel well out of the way. It just doesn't feel like the safest and best way to do this. Anyway, it needs to go forward, so try a little bit bigger hammer. When in doubt, in car restoration, there's always a bigger hammer. Now, I'm not even seeing it budge. So, fast forward, I'll show you something that I researched and that I found. I wanted to show this tool. The first times I showed it, I wasn't successful. Part of it is I had a smaller ratchet. This is a more heavy-duty ratchet. So we'll see without the extension bar if I can get it off. Yeah. So that one was easier. The front wheel, I had to put an extension bar on the ratchet, but you got to get a ratchet that can handle that kind of torque. I broke two separate ratchets trying to get it off. So anyway, the tool is very nice. All of those problems were not the problems with the tool itself. So I would definitely, if you have a Jag, I would definitely recommend it. Okay, so we got a little bit of light on the subject, so we'll take it up a little bit. you can see that this car, I think I mentioned it was restored in the 80s or probably 90s. You can see that most of this stuff has been redone. Probably hasn't been driven more than a couple thousand miles since, but time and age will take a toll, although it's not going to take much to get this back. So get another light. You can see the upper A-arm bushings pretty much shot. The tie rod ends, they're shot. The lower ball joints are pretty much shot. When I say shot, the rubber seals, which keeps the grease and stuff in, they're gone. They're probably still functioning. The A-arm, or I'm sorry, the shock bushings are pretty much shot. Same for the lower A-arm bushings. You can see that they would basically crumble. I'm going to pull all this off and we'll take a look at it. I've got a box of parts over there, and hopefully I have the right things, although I don't have a new shock. But we will pull it apart and take a look at it. Okay, so I am tacking onto the end of the assessment video a initial update, so you can kind of see some of this stuff in progress before I put it back together. So basically stripped this side down to the frame rails, cleaned up the frame rails, sandblasted the A-arms, new A-arm bushings, new ball joints, top and bottom, new shocks, new shock mounts. As you recall, the power steering rack was the thing that was leaking, and so that's been sent out to be rebuilt. I'm going to go ahead and finish this side and put the inner fenders protection back on. I have done some cleaning up underneath here, so we will go from here and get this put back together. I got new wheel bearings for it, new brake pads. I think the calipers are pretty good shape. There's no deterioration on them. Those can always be done later. So we'll clean that up, and then we'll get this finished, and I'll do another update. Okay, welcome to American Dream Garage. Get rid of my hat. I'm still working on the Jaguar XKE. I said that I would probably get to the back end. I was going to wait maybe till next year, but I decided I might as well do it all at one time. So I've read that you can drop the entire rear end as one piece. I've got my transmission jack and some jack stands here. I've gone through and made sure that all the bolts are not frozen or loose so I can get to them. And then we'll be back and show you how it's done. Wow, that was easy. Not really. But for what we're doing, let's see if we can get it out now. Here it is. It's a differential, drive shafts, shocks, inboard, disc brakes, cradle, A-arms, everything. So basically, there's nothing there. Kind of cool, really. A lot of the reason they set it up that way is because of the inboard brakes. They wanted to be able to drop the rear end and service that. So I'm going to try and clean it up, and then I'm going to lift it up onto my shop table so I can work on dismantling it. Okay, got it power washed, and based on the amount of grit, it was actually on the back part, and there's still quite a bit on there. There's got to be some seals in this rear end that are leaking, but I'll see if there's what the fluid levels are. We'll get it up on a bench. Okay, now the key is to get it up in the air so I don't have to bend over all the time. Obviously it's got to go on a heavy duty table.